time for another update. Sorry I didn't get this out to you yesterday. I had a little bit of a problem with my cable connection, but I am up and running today. So today's topic is about the mechanics behind how we create reality and how to shift reality to what we want it to be by using the tool known as compassion. Many people don't realize that compassion is a tool, but understood from the higher perspective and used from that perspective, it is a very powerful tool that basically wipes the slate clean and allows us to begin anew. So here's how it works, and I think if people understand this, they will begin to be able to apply it more effectively, because it's really how we do change reality to become what we want. And we all talk about wanting this world in which we have freedom and we have peace. We have harmony with diversity. We all talk about that. It's a life we want, the world we want to create for our children and leave to future generations. But we're kind of stumped as to how to create it. And what we've done over the past many thousands of years of human civilization is we keep trying to create it externally. And we look to our elected leaders and laws to create that for us. But ultimately, they just seem to keep failing, as they have now. I mean, we're the most technologically advanced society, and yet we still have the same problems we had thousands and thousands of years ago. We don't feel that we have freedom, or we feel like our freedom is threatened, and we certainly don't have peace. I mean, look at all the proliferation of drugs on the market now for panic and anxiety and depression and restless leg syndrome, sleeplessness. It's obvious that we're not a world that is peaceful, much less feeling very free. So I felt that the best thing I could do is reiterate something I talk about a lot in my workshops, which is the mechanics of how you can use compassion to actually create that kind of reality for yourself personally. And then as everybody begins to do it, it becomes a collective reality. First of all, so I guess we began with the basics, the physiology. As many of you know, we all have a neural network in our brain, and this neural network is responsible for our abilities to walk, talk, eat, drink, all the things that we do. Every time we learn something new, a new neural pathway is made, and those pathways collectively become a network, or a network of pathways. With the advent of quantum medicine, they've now discovered a second neural network in our body. And that one they have found also is the one that is really responsible for creating our reality. And the reason why they know this and they feel confident about this is because there's always been a question as to how just our thoughts, because the neural network in our brain is responsible for the intellect, and our thoughts could create all of our reality. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense. There's another missing piece. Well, that missing piece was found when they found this neural network, because this neural network in the heart is the one that interfaces with the this is the neural network that, let me back up. This is a neural network that allows feelings as well as thoughts to move through it. So it is really the one that creates reality, because our reality is created through not just thoughts, but feelings, emotions, which are thoughts charged by feelings. And if that were not true, then we would not have emotion in our world. And we would not have emotion show up in our reality with people who are happy or sad or resentful or joyful or whatever they are. So because our reality is created of all those things, not just thoughts. We're not just intellectual beings. We are intellectual and emotional beings. So now they found how we create reality through this neural net. But even though we know that there's that neural net, we still don't understand how exactly we create reality. So let me just take this a step further. Imagine every feeling or emotion is a magnet. We all know that energy, we are electromagnetic beings, and all of our feelings and thoughts are electromagnetic, and all of this energy out here in this big field of reality, or the morphogenetic field, is electromagnetic, and it's out of this field that we create our reality, or the mirror of life that we see. So imagine all the feelings and thoughts that you have are going out through this neural network every day. Some of them you're conscious of, some of them you're not, because anything you stuff is also going out as well. So imagine that every day you send out, 1,000 electromagnetic magnets of happiness. Then those are going out into the field, and they're beginning to magnetize and draw their exact likeness, which is the universal law of like attracts like. And it attracts them in the form of events and people. So you'll attract people who are happy at that moment. You will attract people who bring forth circumstances based on that happiness. Because when you're happy, you do certain things, and when you're sad, you do certain things. So you imagine you attract 50 people who all have these happy feelings into your reality, and maybe what you create is a party. Maybe you create a great opportunity for something to happen in your life. The point is that whatever you put out is like a magnet, and it will attract its likeness. And the more of it you put out, the more you're going to attract. So if you put out a lot of happiness, you're going to attract luck. That's how we create luck. If you put out a lot of anger, resentment, bitterness, you're going to attract a lot of angry, resentful, bitter people into your reality. And so that's going to show up as car accidents with people who are experiencing road rage, or somebody who's drunk because they're medicating pain, or a boss who comes in one day and is irate and he fires you. All of these things you're going to attract. So once again, when you understand that, then you realize that if you want to change your reality, you've got to change what you're putting out through the mirror. And to do that, you've got to begin to deal with all this pain and rage and anger that's inside of you. To deal with the pain and anger and rage, we have to adopt a higher way of looking at things, because our society tells us that there's a lot for us to fear, a lot for us to judge, a lot for us to condemn. And if we keep doing that, we're going to have this fear. So the higher perspective that we can begin to apply, I'm just going to give you one thing, is that everything has a purpose. Everything has a value. Not just a purpose, but a value. So that means everything that we judge and condemn has a purpose. Did you know even terrorism has a purpose? So everything that we judge and condemn has a purpose. And if we can find that purpose and find that value, then we will no longer fear it. Because we judge what we fear, and what we fear we feel terrified by. We feel victimized by. So look for the value in the things that you fear and the things that you judge. And as you do, and you find that value, you will be free from the fear. So that's true freedom. And you will stop struggling and resisting it, which will give you a state of peace. And when you're in that state of peace and you feel that freedom because you have accepted it as having value, now you've experienced compassion. How that will look in your world is that whatever you were judging and pulling towards yourself because you were putting out all that energy of fear and resentment and judgment and anger is going to go away, because you're no longer attracting it. Instead, you're putting out energy of peace, acceptance, and a feeling of freedom. And so you are going to attract more of that. So hopefully this will help you. And there's more of this on, like, the mission begins, the mission remembered, the mission begins set. One of the CDs is on how to shift reality with compassion, and I go on much deeper into this whole topic. But anyway, hopefully this will help you and give you something to think about. And if you feel guided, pass it on. So have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.